Well, folks, shall we get at it? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all. Gentlemen, have a chance to look at the minutes from last week.
Motion to approve.
And seconded.
All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
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 Do you guys have the application? Sign it,
I
but,
No.
I
think you
mean,
really should look at it.
Yeah.
And it's not that big of a 17.
it has to be done, yeah, minimum is the 15th, but I can call. We can just have someone bring it over. Hey, can you bring, or have someone bring the Fort Hunt Lawn applications over here?
In the meantime, sir, you want to address your
Lawn
letter?
applications?
At
For-
9:30.
Yeah, I didn't see
I
them.
apologize.
So, just need to be brought up. Okay. Bye.
On the release.
Well, how about any reports or committees in 3 minutes?
Had 2 of them. Hay cap, normal. Then Central Iowa juvenile detention, and it was just normal business. Nothing special.
Them all by Zoom too?
Yes.
Gary?
Yeah, I got one.
Oh, I had easy call. A little glitch with easy cog. We'll get that ironed out this week. Guess that was about it. And then also, like I said, I made a trip to Palo Tuesday night and sat in on the solar. So,
Well, I had a mental health meeting last week, and they're not going to take any money from the counties next year. Nothing. Zippo. Otherwise, they would have way too much. I got an email here someplace. I was gonna read it to you last week. It's really good.
Which is good news for our budget.
On 27th was Thursday, wasn't it?
Sure.
yes.
Yeah, it's good. I'll find it.
Bart.
I'd like to set a land use hearing for Ryan and Carly Castle for June 29th at 9:15.
I'll make the motion that we set that land use hearing for Ryan and Carly Castle, June 29th, 9:15 a.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Barb.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Mark.
This is an application that I handed you for a farm exemption. It's from James Dreyhaus. James is currently at Atkins, and he'd like to build a new home on land that has been in part of the family farm for years. Jim owns 60 acres. It is right here in section 30 of Leroy Township. 60 acres there, corn soybean rotation, some set aside, and cows being raised on this particular parcel. And qualifies for farm exemption, and so therefore I'd recommend that he be approved for it.
So moved.
It's right along 16th Avenue Trail.
so is this an existing
There was an old farmstead there some years ago, and there are some buildings still there.
buildings in there? Okay, no. Okay. I'll second the motion.
All right, all in favor of granting Jim Dreyhouse and
Use farm exemption,
farm exemption?
yes.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
A little time, a little chance to look at this.
Exactly. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
You know.
Have you been out there?
Pardon me?
Have you been out there?
Mm-hmm.
What are all those retaining walls?
We should probably wait until we start the process here.
Clock sure ticks slow, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Some days anyway.
We can fix that. But there's two clocks. This mental health thing's gonna be, I don't know what we're gonna do with our extra money.
I believe so. I'm not 100% of this.
Well, we're still allowed to do the spend down.
There ain't no spend down.
You're talking future. Yeah. Well, and if we're not gonna pay in, then we don't have to worry about assessing.
I didn't ask her about that.
Okay, Mark.
This application I've given you is from David Sutton of Newhall. The actual site that we're reviewing is in section 34 of Iowa Township. It's approximately right here on the west side of 13th Avenue Drive. It's in the northeast of section 34. That property that we're looking at is owned by Sutton Properties. And what Mr. Sutton is looking at is changing 1 acre of land at this site. When I handed you this application, you had a chance to see it. And to your question, Gary, before I proceed into the normal, this land that we're looking at is already developed. It happened apparently a year or so, 2 years ago, basically. It happened and it wasn't known by our department. That basically is violation of land use ordinance to commence a new use without having a land use change. Having said that, this is kind of a unique situation here. It did happen. Sits on a road that is not highly traveled, particularly by our office. We don't do patrol and whatnot, but it is there nonetheless. It came to our attention in early April that, about this property because we had a caller unknown to us, wanted to be unknown to us, but he wanted to know what we knew about the septic system on this property. We didn't know about it, and once we started trying to find out about it, obviously we discovered that there's already a house here, rather extensive retaining wall system here, and there's also a septic tank on this particular parcel. There, obviously that we could respond to that in one of a couple of ways. First of all, we notified Mr. Sutton by, we had a notice served that he was in violation of the land use ordinance and gave him the opportunity to comply with the ordinance. And our notice stated that if he was willing to do that, he should fill out the application, send the fee, and also fill out an application for a septic system permit, which he did. We consulted with the county attorney, and the county attorney advised us that we could proceed either way, as in we could ask him to comply or we could file charges. As administrator of the ordinance, I decided that I would like to see him submit the application and see whether or not we could get him into compliance rather than taking the punitive approach, filing charges, going through all of that, which, you know, there's quite a little bit involved with that basically. So anyway, in respect to our ordinances and how we've always tried to do enforcement, the objective is to be fair and consistent with folks. This particular situation fell through the cracks. There were some opportunities missed, obviously, in respect to us learning about it, knowing about it. Number one, he didn't call and ask. On the other hand, like I said, I chose this approach, and so I have this application before you. So what I'm about to review is somewhat after the fact, but nonetheless, I think it needs to be reviewed and to let you know what the situation is there. The land that was developed was not in production. To the best of my ability, I don't think it was ever really in production. The CSR there is an average of 40. The driveway is existing now. This was an opportunity missed, I guess, for us to know about it. But anyway, the driveway was installed, and it meets all of the county's criteria. The site has no rural water, so there was no well needed, so nobody asked for a well permit. The site did need a septic system, does have a septic tank there now, as I mentioned. It is being used as a holding tank only. This is not a full-time residence, so holding tank may or may not be adequate for the needs here. Again, this was an opportunity missed where the contractor that installed this septic tank did not call us, didn't ask anything about the system. No permit was issued, no pre-construction meeting done, which is typically what we do before we install septic system. Spoke with the contractor about this, and he told me that he thought his son had obtained the permit. And in respect to this, I told him that a bare minimum that we're going to reserve the right, assuming that we've gone through this process and you approve, we're going to want to look and see how the system was installed and review it, which is fair because typically we do an inspection before everything's covered up. He's fully agreed to comply with whatever it is that we need to do there. And so at a bare minimum, we're going to have him excavate parts of it and show us what was installed and how it was installed. The surrounding land uses are primarily some scattered rural residences there. The terrain here is hilly, timbered, and quite frankly, very conducive to constructing a new home on it. The fortunate thing for Mr. Sutton and all of us here is that I think the use is compatible. The CSR is definitely low. So from the standpoint of it interfering with any farm operations or taking good land out of production, that did not happen. We notified 6 adjacent property owners, and of course, we placed legal notices in the official newspapers of the county. All 3. We did not receive any comments today prior to the hearing, other than the anonymous phone call we got asking about the septic system. Never heard anything else about that at all. So other than the fact that we had a little problem here with how this all started out, I really don't see anything at all as far as it being contrary to our ordinance, other than the fact that we had a violation, but we're trying to correct that situation if indeed you would approve it.
So moved.
This doesn't look like a weekend home, to be very honest. Looks a little larger than that. I've got reservations about a holding tank only.
I think that I could answer that question. Matt and I've talked about this. It may be such that we need to have more than that, but again, we haven't reviewed it yet, and but there is that possibility that it could and should be more than just a holding tank.
You may need to have a leach field, whatever there.
Some sort of secondary treatment component.
Sure.
Well, with only having a holding tank, it's gotta be pumped out whenever it gets full, right?
It has to be pumped when it's full, and it has to go to a municipal treatment plant due to what our rules say. It can't just be taken out, land applied, if it is a holding tank. And so, we don't know at this point how much water that we are looking at being used here, but it may not be feasible to leave it to be a holding tank. And we talk to folks about this routinely. You know, there's options that we can employ to do secondary treatment, and it may end up being cost effective to do that option versus pumping it frequently with the pumping cost And if his frequency increases to a level that, you know, like you suspect, maybe, it wouldn't be feasible to pump it all the time. So there's some questions there to be answered yet. They have applied for a permit, and we're gonna address that issue and see that this goes the way that it needs to go, so. And we have a cooperative.
Individual.
Yes, we have the individual and the contractor they're being cooperative, and so like I said, I don't anticipate that being an issue ongoing.
How many municipalities take sewage like this out of a holding tank?
I'm sorry, good.
How many municipalities take sewage out of a holding tank?
Belle Plaine and Benton in our county.
Okay.
So that, what basically they do is come out to pump it, and then locally here, Brian Carr, for example, comes out, he pumps it, and then he hauls it off to the sewage plant, and he pays them to dump. But, you know, so if this is approved, it would be approved subject to a adequate septic system being in place.
I don't know that you need to make that contingency because of the fact that that's our job.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
We have to see that it will be adequate according to the law, and I can assure you that we will do that. I mean, that's our job, that's what we have to do. And again, you know, I've spoke personally with the contractor about this very issue, and he's all in as far as trying to make a wrong right, and so.
Okay.
It very well may be, Rick, that, you know, there is not more load there than, you know, than a holding tank
Sure.
could support.
At the
On the
current
other hand, if
time.
it is more, then we're gonna deal with that issue.
Okay.
We have folks that have holding tanks in, you know, very recreational, seasonal type situations, and when it's full, but you know, and they pay the price. If indeed he could have a secondary treatment component, we try to educate, and most of the time it makes sense to put that component in, because it'll be less costly than pumping it with frequency if their load is more than what they think or we think. And so, like I said, we can deal with that.
All right. Was there any explanation as to why nobody came forward to ask for application and permits?
No, well, other than the septic permit, but the other was just didn't know that it was necessary. I mean, we do hear that still, you know, and I don't mean to be offensive to anyone, but there are some folks still that think that Benton County has no rules, we can just go and do what we want, where we want, when we want. And it's not been the case for a long, long time, but they're, you know, the other thing that comes up a lot of times is as well, we weren't planning on living there full time, so we thought maybe we didn't need to do anything. So,
Actually, down in Skogman, they don't think Benton County has any rules. They think Lynn County's got more rules than Benton County, and I can tell you they're absolutely wrong.
Well, for example, Iowa County doesn't require this, you know, and so, you know, Tama County has zoning and environmental regulations and everybody around us, but Iowa County doesn't have the land use type regulations. But again, I don't know the answer other than didn't think it was necessary, I guess.
Okay.
On the septic contractor, he thought that they had dealt with it. On the other hand, like I said, I don't know about it. I'm not sitting here in a position to be real judgmental. I just want to see that we get compliance at this point.
We've got a motion on the floor, so I'll do a second to approve the land use change.
All in favor of changing the land use?
Aye.
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 Good, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
hopefully we don't see
Here's the application and
a
then
lot
yours.
more of these.
Yeah, it's surprising. Really is.
Yeah, it is. I was quite surprised.
How you doing? Good, how you doing? Good. Yeah. I don't have much, we already went over this a month or so ago, but there is a request for a no-cost time extension. Indicates that the project can be completed by December of this year. Pretty simple letter, just requesting the IEDA allow the program to go through the end of the fiscal year, in the case that there would be any overage for work or whatever. It wouldn't cost any, be no cost time extension. So, more of a preventative measure, just in case they are allowing it. So, probably in the best interest just to take care of it now, rather than try to do it later. And I believe Haley already said that we covered this on the previous meeting, so just need a signature. Get it sent to the state.
So do we need a
Motion
motion?
that you go ahead and sign this letter for the IEDA?
Second.
Okay,
What'd you say?
I was just reading the agenda.
Oh, okay.
okay, we got a motion and a second, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You probably seen it already.
Yeah.
Alright.
Can I have the contracts from Schrader for you to sign?
Okay,
They'll need to be stamped.
Okay.
They've already been approved,
okay,
so whenever the meeting's over, I can bring those in.
okay,
You can sign. I still don't have any of the papers from Louis on any of his stuff yet, so
okay.
still waiting on that. But as soon as I get them, I'll have you sign those, but I got them in my office. I don't know how long the meeting's gonna last,
A little after 10.
but a little after 10.
Yep.
Okay, I'll bring them in about 10 or so.
Okay, sounds good. Do you want me to sign this one that I printed off for him?
Does he have it?
It doesn't matter, as long as it's, yeah, so you can sign whichever one.
You send it to him?
Sign and date, yeah, then mail. Or I can send it to you.
There you go.
Thank you.
All right, now I got that.
Dana? Well, then I'll make the motion that we approve the courthouse lawn use for the Benton Park Recreation Department
Second.
for those 2 dates
Okay.
indicated.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the bottom sheet, they're gonna fill that out later.
Yeah, no, I have to.
Anything new and different,
Much.
other than a new building?
Did I do it right?
Yeah.
You want me to
Find it and read it?
continue?
Yeah.
Okay. The bill changes the way the system is funded from system based on county property taxes to 100% state funding in the future. The bill eliminates mental health property tax levy for over a 2-year period, with all county levies reduced to an amount not to exceed $21.14 per capita for fiscal year '22. Reduced to 0 beginning in 2023. Okay. The bill creates a new mental health and disability services regional service fund and establishes a central fund standing appropriation to the Department of Human Services for the distribution of the mental health disability regions via performance based on contracts and the following per capita amounts: $15.86 for 2022, $38 for fiscal year '23, and $40 for fiscal year '22, $42 for fiscal year '25. Now, if you don't understand that, they're gradually increasing their funding to fund the mental health from $15.86 to $42, which we don't need. Never spent that much. But some regions do. Some of the regions are in financial trouble. Des Moines, Polk County is a single county, and they're always in trouble. I don't know if it's true or false, but our region, darn it, our region is really forward-thinking. We had 2 mental health, like Ron's got over here, we had 2 of those in our region. Some regions don't have any. I think the last one opened the 15th of April, but they're being very well used. Whatever.
Well, it's gonna come out of the state's budget
Yeah.
rather than the individual county budgets.
Yeah, and that's good, short term. Long term, for our region and our mental health here in this area, it's gonna be bad. I can see it coming. The bill amendment. The bill amends provisions related to county funding balances by requiring all counties' fund balances to be pooled by the mental health regions at the conclusion of fiscal year '22. So we might lose our money. County treasurers must transfer all remaining county funds to the region's combined account.
You spend it on something, huh?
What's that?
Did you spend it on something then before that?
Can't.
Can't?
Well, we've had authorization to do a spend down. So I would assume, I don't know what that means, that we're still allowed to spend down to that 40% level.
Yeah, but what do we
And
do?
then at the end of that time, we turn it over to the state.
Yeah, I'll have to get more details.
Right.
Beginning in fiscal year '22, state per capita appropriations to the mental health disability regions region are reduced if the mental health disability region has a fund balance in excess of the fund balance cap specified above. The reduction does not begin until the second half of the year once fund balances are certified on December 1st. Yeah. I can read that more if you want, but if the region's remaining quarterly payments are insufficient to get the region to the required fund balance cap, the region is required to pay the Department of Human Services the amount for which the reduction in quarterly payments could not be made. I don't understand that. This amount will be deposited to the incentive fund. This all happened very late in the legislature, and there's a lot of holes in this, I can see. I mean, there's a lot. Mental Health Regional Incentive Fund. The bill creates a new mental health regional incentive fund to provide additional funding to the mental health regions and specifies the criteria in which the mental health region may apply for funding. Bill makes a general fund appropriation of $3 million to the Mental Health Regional Incentive Fund for fiscal year 22, beginning in fiscal year 26. Any funds in the fund will be multiplied by a growth factor not to exceed 3.5% per year, equal to the state tax growth rate for the preceding fiscal year minus 1.5%.
I think we got the gist of it here.
Yeah.
So, and bottom line is, whatever we've got left is gonna be turned over to them. And it's just a little bit tax, but it's coming through the state versus the county.
Yeah. Counties like us that are doing a good job of it are getting penalized. The counties like Des Moines that were doing a poor job of it, or Polk County, they're gonna get rewarded for it. That's what it boils down to. Whatever. We couldn't, at our region, we couldn't accept any money from the counties because we'd have had 3/4 of our yearly fund balance in excess. We'd have had, I mean, it just wasn't gonna work. And at the meeting, I wanted to at least review it, and our chairman, there wasn't any point. I mean, it wasn't gonna go
What
away.
that might mean is our next go around on the budget, we may be able to cut that levy down.
Next fiscal year.
Where we're not transferring as much. That'd be 22, 23. And I think it said, I'm not sure when in 23 we have to transfer it, but, you know,
Yeah.
we might be able to fudge there. So we're not hitting the county residents so hard that just transferring it all to the state.
It's a bad deal.
Something to look at. Something to keep in mind.
Dan.
I'll start this, you can read it, you can pass it down, I just have the one copy. I'd like to hire Robin Hoffman, he's got all his credentialing, everything. I don't have to take him anywhere to get got everything he needs. Used to work, drive a school bus at the grade school. Yeah, kind of just fell in my lap the other day, it's like, oh, that's nice when that happens.
You gotta have that once in a while.
Yeah, it's like, this must be my lucky day.
You from Benton?
Well, I just live outside of it. Pretty close.
All right, I'll take a motion.
You got it.
Second?
All in favor of hiring Robin Lance Hoffman, part-time?
Aye.
I,
Aye.
Thank you.
you need to state the wage.
For the start date. I have that on.
Should probably be included in a motion.
Okay, the starting wage is $14.95, and starting date is today, June 2nd, no, tomorrow, June 2nd.
Aye.
That's what I thought you asked for a motion, yeah.
Okay. Got it?
This my copy?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you sign that, Tracy, or do you need to?
Do I need to sign it?
Does he need to sign it? No.
See you later.
Yeah. Or,
Thank you, David.
hey, Dana? Brought these guys up to date, but you can take this over, read this, so you're kind of read up on it.
Oh, for the
Okay,
lease, for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
read that, and I'll kind of explain, I gotta kind of open up. So,
He's got it marked. It's number
Okay.
second, it's on the second page, I think.
Alright.
you just take it over there.
Alrighty.
I don't know how that works with insurance, but if one person's got it insured and another person, I think it don't work.
They're only gonna pay once, you know what I mean?
They might not pay at all.
Well, do we got any new or old business? We don't have no public here.
You know, this mental health, we've been doing everything we can to lower our fund balance. So there's anything we can do. If the law moves against us, there's nothing we can do. And really, our previous supervisors were very mindful of the future and how things could play out.
I'm not sure what that remaining amount is that we can spend down. I know that we were looking at several opportunities. One of them was to pave the lot here, and I'm not sure how that's coming, so, but
I said on that, I discussed that a little bit with Penny this morning. I says, I'm leaning on wait until after the new, then I'll get hot on it to get everything ironed out.
well, that's only 30 days.
Well, but what, the reimbursement deal, what they're gonna pay, that's over a 10-year deal.
Correct.
So yeah, we're gonna get reimbursed for a third of it, but it's 10 years. I look at it, you're still paying 100%
Renter
upfront
upfront.
out of our pocket.
Right. But we can use some of this fund balance for that.
Yeah,
And so that's the good thing.
okay, and then she also said on some of her budget did not get used, that some of that's gonna get rolled back here, come into June here. And she said that could be anywhere between 15 and 30,000. That'll be rolled back. So we could use that also, apply it.
Good. just this parking lot, but we've got the west side that's got to have some attention as well. So,
They get the roof fixed on the cabin.
They haven't been back at it. Shelby called Saturday, I think we talked. And they haven't, they've been busy trying to keep the park, and the parks were all full.
Even
that's what
Ann,
they were.
that's all I can, going through town.
I think the last email that I seen, that was like Thursday, that they only had like one space, Rogers, and maybe 3 at Hannon, and I can't remember all, but they were full, and I was gonna take a drive on Sunday and do it. It didn't happen, so.
There was some pulling out Sunday. They were going through town, coming from the south. I assume that's where they were from.
Well, Sunday I went up to Dunkerton to my boys, and I was kind of surprised, I guess, that north between Benton and Laporte towards Waterloo, they had frost. And next to the waterways, next to the creeks, the first couple rows of corn, brown, smoked.
Beans are smoked then too.
So,
Yeah, there was a little frost at Blairstown, but I don't think that it was down low enough to, but like on the roofs, there was.
yes, I sprayed corn yesterday, and I did 80-some acres, and I didn't see, the wind hurt it more than anything.
I saw a little cutworm damage yesterday. That was kind of odd. This bean ground, I never put any insecticide on it. And there was just one plant that was cut.
You dig down and pull his teeth.
Probably should have. We got 10 acres there on the north side of our driveway that's gotta be corn because it'll flood down there. Can't put beans down there, it just don't work. Now, on the south side of the driveway, you can put beans, on the north side you can't. But it goes over a driveway up to about first light pole from the place. And it'll go over the road, everything. I mean, goes from our mailbox, or north of our mailbox, clear south. Get a big rain. When my father-in-law bought that, it was a dirt road, and it wasn't nearly as high as what it is. And it was tough to get in there. So the Sikhs on the west side of the road, they says, we'll give you the dirt, but the water stays on the other side of the road.
Rick, did you happen to go out to the VFW?
Sunday?
I did.
So,
I
yeah, it
did.
was on the 15th. Yeah. Quite honestly, I was mowing.
Well, see, I forgot their grand opening. I felt bad about that. That was a couple weeks ago, you know, when they had their grand opening. Their dedication, I forgot.
Yeah, I did too.
but I made it yesterday, or Sunday.
Oh, Sundays,
Sunday.
no, for the Memorial Day
Yeah,
services.
yeah. Well, it wasn't for the service, they were just having their breakfast deal,
Oh.
like they had the first time, and
Mhm.
it was good. It was good, and they're having it again, 27th of June, and that's gonna benefit, Red Cedars, the trap shooting team, high school here.
Guess I hadn't seen it advertised or anything. Where did you see it at?
Facebook.
I hadn't seen it. Usually I hear about it. But, oh well.
I got the chain link fence halfway put up. You seen that
Mm.
out here where trees?
Okay.
I think that was a week or 2 weeks ago.
Along 8th Street?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm not done with it, but I got it up that the rabbits and dogs and humans. So.
Greg Walston was telling me they put out like 300 pounds of seed potatoes. They had so many that they had to go around to 3rd Street and put them over there as well.
They look good.
Yes, they do.
They look good. You know, they had a lot of dirt. I'd call it on the city property where the fence was supposed to be, and it was on the sidewalk and all that. Well, getting it off the sidewalk with a shovel, that was no problem, but then when I got into it, it was about a foot deep where the fence actually was. And I brought a spade along. It just, with the ground up bark and all that, just wasn't working. I finally got mad, and one of the new gals that they got hired to take care of the garden here, I asked if they had a potato fork. And yeah, oh yeah, they let me borrow a potato fork. Well, then that worked ideal, you know, I could get in that mulch and I just threw it back on their property so I could get the fence back up, so
Sure.
it's off the city property now and everything, and it's off the sidewalk, and
Surprised Myron's not here yet.
Yeah.
you have a good weekend, Gina?
We did. Did you do anything fun for your birthday?
Nope. Going up to my son, that's about it.
Your birthday was Sunday? Another year older. I used to look forward to them when I was younger.
I look forward when it's on Friday or Saturday night.
You can do that anytime. Even Tuesday morning.
Not near as fun when it's on a Sunday.
There's a lot of people out yesterday. Sunday.
Yeah, the Legion didn't have nothing in Newhall. Last year, they just, well, there was a group of us went out to the cemetery and had a small deal that wasn't actually publicized or whatever, but
Legion didn't do nothing, huh?
Atkins did, Norway did,
Blairstown did.
Van Horn did, Keystone did. Yeah, they put the flags out and all that. They didn't put them out till Friday night there at 6 o'clock, and I mean, it was miserable. I went up there and helped them, and a couple of them didn't have enough clothes. You know, I had a t-shirt on and a light jacket, and
Yeah.
Blairstown put out 200 of them, I think.
oh, really?
And then they had a service at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, Atkins had it at the Lutheran Church. Norway had it down there. Well, they had it in their Legion Hall, and then they had it at their monument that they got. And I've been through Norway, and I keep forgetting to look at it because their monuments that they had built all fell over and broke from the storm.
That wind blew the monuments over.
Yeah, see, we had that one, no, it wasn't a warning stone. I can't even think who it was now, but we just set that up here 2 weeks ago at the cemetery there. I had a friend of mine come with his skid loader and pallet forks, and we used a strap on it now. That stone itself was 8 foot tall, and you know, on the base was 16 inches, and then it narrowed down to 8 inches. You know, when it flopped off, you know, there's 5 stones stacked that tall. And it took a 10-foot ladder, football that fell off it. I call it a football, but a marker topper on stone, and it busted. So I brought that home and I put Gorilla Glue on that and glued it all back together. And it took a 10-foot step ladder next to the stone to crawl up there. And even then, you were probably 5 or 6 foot above the 10-foot step ladder to set that football up. But we got that finally set.
I was listening to the radio on the way up, and this area where the derecho was, it's not having as many thunderstorms.
Mm-hmm.
I can't figure out why. It must be from Ames to Indiana or Ohio, I don't know. Big enough area that they're seeing it.
Well, all last week I only had a half-inch of rain,
Yeah,
just enough to keep you out of the field. But
yeah. We're trying to spray. We got a Hardy sprayer. When it's working, it works really great, but there's something wrong. It goes from real low pressure to real high pressure. Something screwy somewhere. What's nice about it is it's got a boom on it that deer put on their Aggies for a while till Hardy decided that no more. But by that time, deer had a good idea what the patent needed to be.
here he comes.
Yeah.
Morning, sir.
Morning. How are you?
Getting by.
Atkins Utility Company. Assuming it's 10 o'clock, so you look like, yeah, it's at 10 o'clock when I pull in the parking lot. Brownlee's driveway, 33rd Avenue and 4th Street, pedestal there. Atkins needs to service the new house that's being built south of there, up on the top of the hill.
Mm-hmm.
So running south on 33rd from Brownlee's to that new residence.
Yeah, do I have a motion?
So moved.
And seconded. All in favor? Aye. Aye.
Feels like Monday. motor graders.
Oh, yeah.
The one in Newhall is up for replacement next. As you know, we have had great success with Caterpillar motor graders and have talked with two different heavy equipment dealers that have gotten us good used Caterpillar machines that have come off of buybacks or leases that are years old or loud. This year, trying to find some of those machines has been a little bigger challenge. Either we're off the cycle a little bit, but equally the used market for heavy equipment is fairly strong right now. We did find, one of the dealers did find a machine, I think up in Canada, not knowing what all of the cost exchanges would be in getting that, but it was about $285. Wasn't quite sure if it had snow equipment or not. We had some success out in South Dakota, North Dakota with some dealers that they deal with. A question that was asked last year was to look at least compare to John Deere motor grader prices also. Could not find any used ones out there available. Did ask the John Deere dealer to give us a price for a new machine. $264,350 for a motor grader that we had spec to a few of our, I don't know if I want to say a few of our likings or not, but certainly the configuration that we have set up with the moldboard. Had the operator actually go over to Lynn County and run a John Deere one day. Found that the joystick control on the John Deere works differently than the Caterpillar joystick control. Was very comfortable with it on the John Deere model. So we asked them to bid the joysticks. We have been doing joysticks with all of our most recent purchases. We would have to get a snow wing, blade, and post, regardless with whatever machine we bought. So the Hinky brand that the John Deere dealer has works with to install. Caterpillar dealer will not price a brand new machine when he's comparing it to a John Deere. I'm recommending purchasing a new John Deere motor grader, a 770G for Martin Equipment for $264,350 plus, in addition, the $22,600 for the snow wing and post.
And Caterpillar won't even give you a quote.
Not if you're gonna compare it with John Deere. They'll know they'll be higher. If you're gonna look at low bid, they won't come in under a John Deere machine, so.
Well, about that.
Is the John Deere lighter than a Cat?
If it is, it'd be minimal, Gary, because they are both being pretty stout. I mean, equal models, I would say, are pretty similar.
Well, you need a motion to approve the purchase of the John Deere and the Hinky blade. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Or- okay.
Easiest that way, I guess.
All right. Got it.
Second.
All in favor of purchasing a John Deere motor grader and wing?
Aye.
Is there a problem with service or anything like that, with most of them being Cats and this being a Deere?
We have not the G model, but two other John Deere motor graders. And getting parts from the John Deere dealer isn't any different than for the most part, than the Caterpillar dealer. I mean, yes, if you had all one brand, there's a benefit to that.
I think you could drive to Milan and get the parts if you needed them.
There's, I mean, there's positive from that standpoint if you only had to stock one thing on your shelf. On the flip side, there are times where having something to compare to make sure everyone's getting the best deal. And I mean, there are little things, I can't rattle them off right now, but that some people like more on feature-wise on one versus the other. John Deere continues to make improvements. I guess when I looked at them, it's been 10, 15 years ago, they had made some improvements prior to their older machines, which were better. They have improved some more things that.
Are these made up in Dubuque? I think they are, but I'm not sure.
Parts of them are. I think they're assembled in either Coal Valley or Davenport in the Quad City area.
Yeah. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'm very happy.
Be the first time this year.
Myron, Tim Capuzzian talked to me the other day about putting cross traffic doesn't stop or something at the stop sign north of Keystone where it comes from the west and goes to Van Horn.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a couple close calls there. I don't know what you can do, but the traffic coming from the north going to the south and from the south going to the north doesn't stop. And
There's no reason they aren't stopping.
there's no stop sign there.
It's a two-way stop. North-south, north on Keystone is through traffic. It doesn't stop at that intersection, but coming west out of Van Horn to Keystone, or if you were coming from, say, 21 L Run going east to Keystone,
Stop
you have
sign.
to stop there.
Yeah.
Stop sign and stop ahead sign.
Yeah. And he's saying they're coming from the west, they're not stopping?
They are stopping from the west, but from the north, they're not. But
That's a through street.
Yeah, it's through.
it's through street.
Yeah.
But there's a problem there. I don't exactly know what it is, but I think the people from the west or from the east stop and then go.
There's even rumble strips.
Yeah, but they stop and then they go because they think the traffic north-south stops.
Oh, they think it's a four-way stop, and it's not.
I don't know if there's
I was
anything
through
you
there
can
just
do.
yesterday. So,
I think what it is traffic that isn't familiar with it. And they think that when they stop, they think that there's the north-south traffic has to stop as well.
so you're looking for signage that, you know,
I don't know, whatever. Something to make it so somebody don't get
oncoming
killed.
traffic does not stop or some
Yeah.
sort of sign. I think you can put all the signs up you want.
I don't know. He said he said there's been 2 close calls there that he knows about. So I don't know.
Now, how's the DOT gonna direct 21 then, after they shut that down? I remember seeing it somewhere, but ain't that coming through Keystone on the Elbin Road?
Yeah, and down 131, old 131 in Develop Lane.
So,
Originally, they were going over Luzerne and going up that way.
That's what I thought.
I reminded them that you've got that underpass there by.
Low clearance.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
so they're gonna take old 131, so they're gonna go west, short distance, and then south into Belle Plaine.
Depending on whether you're southbound or northbound, whether you say west or east, but yeah, between 13th and 15th, you'd have to drive on 30, but
How long is that gonna be closed?
all season long. Right now, I know it was bumped from July to August, and I don't know if everything got turned in for the August deadline or not, as to whether it's getting bumped to September for bid opening or not, but, I think that from, well, you know, outside of who the award contractor is and what their final schedule will be, they anticipate maybe starting some bridge work over the winter time, but they're not expecting any dirt moving to happen until start of the season next year. But depending on what next construction season is, weather-wise and other things, it's anticipated to be closed, used all season long, and whether it can get done in one season or whether it'll take two. I know it took almost, 1 2/3 seasons to do 218. Didn't take it full two seasons, but it took into two seasons pretty
And
heavily.
21's gonna be a larger intersection.
And yeah, similar magnitude, but maybe a little, because say you're tied into the Salt Creek Bridge, almost a half-mile west of 21, and then between 11th and 11th Avenue Drive, I think it is. They're bringing 4-lane out to that point, so.
What's going on with the Han Lake Road, patching them spots? Anything yet?
I've got Colleen lined up to do that.
Good.
I'm not sure how soon that's on the schedule, but they're lined up to do the patching on that.
And is Boomerang gonna open their wallet and help you?
They haven't answered that question completely yet.
Okay.
They said they would. They didn't say how wide though.
Okay. Sounds good.
Are they gonna do anything with that road north of Belle Plaine down to 30? Are they gonna, that's gonna be a nightmare. That's narrow, it's rough. State ain't gonna help with any of that, are they?
I mean, 131?
Yeah.
Not usually, I mean, they haven't initiated, or they have never initiated anything in the past prior to a detour. They usually offer what a cost would be for running traffic on a road. There isn't a great way around that 21 interchange. I'm sure that there will be some that figure, I don't know how that all works exactly, but I mean, I know you can zigzag your way around, in Tama County, doing west off of, you can go west of Belle Plaine on
131.
Chelsea Road and go north on B18, but I'm not sure. I think B18 then goes up to Vining and you get around that way, if I recall right. Get around 21 equally able unpaved routes to the west. It's a little harder to do, a more windy, I think, road, and I'm not sure distance-wise how far on travel that all is, but.
Because they're closing the diagonal going to Chelsea on 30, I was told.
Oh, they're gonna close the diagonal?
It's closed right now.
Yes, it is closed, yeah.
Doing some work on what used to be that level B dirt road just to the east of it. I didn't know if it was gonna, how that's all tied in there for sure or not. But you will have the V18 interchange north of
Mhm.
Tama County's shop there, or their
Right.
maintainer shed, and north to Viney will
So
still
it's
stay as an opening.
Always a bad corner there. Boo-hoo accidents. So,
And
Okay.
bad ones too.
yes, they are. Okay.
Thank you, Myra.
Sure
Thank you,
thing.
sir.
All right,
Have a short week.
yeah. You too.
That's yours.
It is?
Sure, I don't know what to
Is
say.
it?
It can be yours. It has my regret all over it.
Nice with,
Miralax, it's okay.
I know. Favor.